I would like to change gears about, and introduce one of the gentlemen that I've really grew up looking up to. I used to call him Bra Rams. He's literally a radio mogul. And he's going to be talking about opportunities and lost opportunities. I literally used to listen to him on Metro FM, but really a very strong and powerful communication consultant, worked amongst others, Metro FM, Radio 702, Kaya FM, The Star, Cape Times, the Sunday Times, and SABC3. Very passionate about small businesses. I think he actually runs a platform, I forgot the name, he runs a platform on Facebook about empowering SMEs. So with that, I'll call to stage Rams Mabote.
Hello and good afternoon. It's a privilege to have to address you, especially after the previous speaker. Not only because she's good, but I think she also looks good for the screen, which helps her better than me. But I'm going to try and better it by dazzling you with my own story. I was asked to speak on opportunities and missed opportunities, but I thought I'll speak more about missed opportunities because that's what we do. We miss opportunities. That's what we do as SMEs all the time. So look at this and think about what's happening here. You would think that fish stuck in a small bowl would live there forever. But when it sees a bigger bowl, it goes for it. We don't do that. We think the bowl we're given is our bowl, and that's where life ends. And therefore, we always miss the opportunity, even when we are closer to that opportunity, because we're thinking our space is all that we have. That is tragic, very, very tragic if you ask me. Imagine you walked into a room full of celebrities, and one of them is somebody that you've always loved. What do? Let me tell you what most of you would do. Nothing. Now, that's a crime. Because if you do not take the opportunity to reach out, you do not know what stands on the other side. Imagine you're at a game park and you see one of the big five. What do? I say you pull out your camera and take a picture. Even if that picture could be of a kill. I hope this did not end that way. Actually, I know it didn't. I took this picture. Everybody survived. But we hide behind. We look at scenes from afar, and we hope for things to happen to us. And you know what we claim? I'm shy. Really? What you want stands on the other side of shy. And if you move the shy, it is so easy. If you do not have that camera with you for that moment with that celebrity, you're doomed. You must always have it ready. There is never a moment in my life when I'm not ready with my camera because I know my next opportunity could be a click away. And what's the worst that could happen? It's a no. They can only reject you and not give you an opportunity to take a picture with them. But opportunities are about effort. Good things do not come to those who wait. Don't believe the saying that they come to those who wait. They don't. If you are waiting, no opportunity will come to you. If you do not knock on doors until you blistered, nothing is going to open for you. Circumstances do not determine what needs to happen. You did not plan for her to smile at you at that restaurant. But if she did, I say pounds. It may never happen again. The environment is not enough for you to determine what's going to happen. Sometimes the rain is good. Sometimes the rain stops you from what you want to do. So you cannot blame the environment all the time for what you're not achieving. And resources also are not always the answer or the stumbling block. And let me explain that. Half of you spend the time applying for government funds for programs like the Sasol ESD, for all other government programs and other funding, because you think that's going to take you to the next level. It sure would, I'm sure. but the lack thereof does not necessarily mean that you're not going to make it. Trust me, it is not true. I do not believe that resources are all that you need, at least financial resources are not all that you need to build your business. You gotta play the card that you've been given. The card that you have in your hand could be the winning card if you think differently, if you work differently. You do not have to be hamstrung by what has been issued in your hand. Who told you that the next person has a better hand? Use the card you're given. So I say, you can go to all the conferences you like. You can go to all the summits you like, and we do, don't we? We can attend webinars like this one today, all we like, and collect notes and notes and notes. But if we do not put our own effort, these seminars and conferences mean absolutely nothing. Let me tell you my story. Indulge me a bit. So in 2014, I attended a summit in Sandton called the Success Summit. And during the break, I went to one of the stalls, exhibition stalls. And I there found an organization that was selling a coaching program. Very expensive, I must tell you. But I thought I wanted to take my business to the next level. I had been in business for years at that time, but I thought I'm not getting to the next level. I then enlisted their services and paid. They charged me in dollars, so I'm not going to convert it in rands. It was so crippling. But I paid the money. And I went then through the program of coaching with this business coach, an American business coach, all of it happening through Skype. And I paid as though I was traveling to America every second week. But it happened, and it went through the entire 2014. And somewhere in October 2014, they then called me in the program. They said, by the way, at the end of each year, we run a competition where we give awards to some of the best performing businesses that have been coached. And this is happening in Los Angeles. And you have been shortlisted. So look out for details, get yourself ready, and get your blackface to LA. Could not have been more excited. And off I went to Los Angeles, and still regret that I actually did not see much of Los Angeles because I was stuck in a conference for 4 days. I did rush to Hollywood for 2 hours or so before I caught my flight back to South Africa. Surprise, surprise, I was to be named the SME of the year in the coaching series. Now, let's pause. Why did this happen? You could assume because I did something good during the coaching. Yeah, you probably are right. But I did something more than that. I went for an opportunity when I saw it. I went into that room, I saw something, I went for it, I checked out for it, and I enlisted, and I put in the effort. I did not wait for a good thing to happen to me. I did not enlist to win an award. In fact, let me tell you something about that particular award. My mother, God bless her soul, she's 81 years old this year, but she was probably 79 when she broke that award. So all I have is a stamp. But I still have the award. So I was not there for that award. I went there because I saw an opportunity and I took it. And I took the picture. Because in that room, there was one of my favorite actors, Al Pacino, the one and only Tony Montana. That's my favorite movie Al Pacino did called Scarface. I took the picture. You know what he took? Mr. Pacino, may I please have a picture with you? Oh, yeah. And it happened. He couldn't smile. It's fine. I got the picture. It will never disappear. But that's not even half the story. Let me tell you then the best part of my story. It's because at the end of my coaching period, my coach said to me, you actually are doing amazingly well as a salesperson. What you have done in growing your business and what you have learned about sales, you actually should become a sales coach. I had never bargained for that. I had gone in to go and learn how to grow and better my business. On the other side of it, I came out with an opportunity to start a business coaching other SMEs myself. And that I have been doing since 2014. I have coached tens of small businesses over the period of time using what I had learned, but also what I've learned in my own business. I have learned my own sales techniques. I have known what works and doesn't work in sales. But most importantly, what I can tell is that I paid for my education. Because that which I got in that program was education. I put in my pound of flesh. You cannot sit and always wait for somebody to pay for your education. You cannot wait for Sasol or for NEF or for CETA or whoever they are, a government fund to fund you all the time. Where's your pound of flesh? These programs are good for all of us. We all need these programs. I have seen people who've come through ESD programs, and damn, I'm envious. I've never been a beneficiary of an ESD program. But in fairness, I never applied for one. But I've seen people who've gone through them and they've done exceptionally well in their businesses. I've interviewed lots of them. But many of them are going nowhere slowly. They are exactly where they started when the program started. And some of them, by the way, have been through so many programs and they have never moved because they are not working the room. When they are inside that room, they're not looking for the next opportunity. They're not asking the right questions. They're not bothering the right people. They're just collecting the notes and missing the opportunities. And what do? You end up listening to business talks like this one. I do it. I get paid for it because I got the opportunity and I used it. But does it move your business when you do not do your part? The answer is very simple. No, it doesn't. You stagnate. And businesses stagnate because of the owners. It's not of the environment. It's not of the funding. It's not of circumstances, and I'm not dismissing those things. But I'm saying we stagnate because of us, the business owners. And sometimes the business goes under. There's nothing sadder than seeing your business going under because you did not do your piece of work. You did not seek out for those opportunities because they will never, ever come to you. You have to go grab them. And they are never written opportunity on the forehead. If you do not go get them, they're gone. And there is somebody waiting to get them all the time. So this program that you are in, if you are part of the program, you ask yourself one question. Have you worked the room? Do you know who is inside that room with you? Or are you missing the opportunity to network with the very people in the room who could be your next partner in business? Who could be your next distributor in your business? Are you screaming at the Sasol people that are working with you for more opportunities? Trust me, it is their job to listen to your screams. Maybe don't scream this way, but you gotta do it. They are actually in that room to make sure that they're available for you to scream at them. Scream. Not that kind of scream. Because if you don't do it, it will come to an end. All good things come to an end. Somebody is waiting at the door to be admitted in this program after you. They cannot keep you forever. All they did was to open the door. A door full of opportunities, some seen, some unseen, mostly unseen. But it's up to you to take them. Nobody's going to babysit you. You have to think big. And I mean big. You have to stop thinking that because I came in here supplying this organization with nuts and bolts, that's where it ends. But why are you not supplying the final product? Why should it be just nuts and bolts? Who said it should end with nuts and bolts? So think big, and then go grab it. It is important that once you've thought about it, grab it. But then, here's my criticism of SMEs. We don't do enough. We don't do enough to build ourselves and our businesses, and we have to do more. There are thousands, and I mean literally thousands of free online courses. How many of them have you done? There are thousands of podcast and digital programs. How many of you have you subscribed to? Have you subscribed to Talk with Rams Live? That gives a whole lot of opportunities for SMEs. There are millions, literally millions of digital books that are free out there that could turn your business around tomorrow. How many have you read? And why? Why have you not read? What are you waiting for? Any horse can win a race. Any horse. But that depends on the jockey. If you know a bit about punting, punters do not bet horses, they bet jockeys. They will bet a horse that's never won a race just because on the day it will be mounted by the best international award-winning jockey, because it depends on the jockey, not on the horse. A great horse will end up as a camel, mounted by a terrible jockey. You, as the jockey, will determine your tomorrow. You'll determine the tomorrow of that business. That nuts and bolts business does not depend on nuts and bolts, because anybody and everybody can supply nuts and bolts, but nobody is the jockey that you are. You gotta work on the jockey. If you do not work on the jockey, you're going to kill the horse. There's another horse waiting to outrace your horse all the time. That's what they train to do. So, I say to you, your start should not be your end. You can grow your business if you look out for those opportunities, especially those that are not naked to your eye. They do exist. They are in the room that you are not working every single day. But growth does not always come organically, guys. Sometimes it's a merger. And again, I say in this room where you do the ESD program, maybe there is a company that you could merge and grow with and get bigger contracts much quicker than you trying to grow organically and trying to get a huge contract with Sasol. You will not have the capacity to give them what they're looking for. But if you came as a bigger merged organization, you will do it. Hey, sometimes it's acquisitions. There is somebody in that room who probably is ready to quit. Take them over. It's the nature of business. Buy them out. Grow your business quicker by acquiring those that are limping. It's part of business. It happens everywhere. There's nothing illegal about it, and certainly nothing immoral about it. But the best way is that in that room, there is a potential business partner that you're not talking to. There is somebody that is out there and could bring the yin to your yang. Because we are not everything. We do not have all the tools we need to become what we want to become. And we shouldn't. I'll tell you now, we shouldn't. The previous speaker spoke about the services that you should enlist for websites and for social media and all those things. I do not know those things. I buy those services because I don't have to know them. There are things I know. I can sell you anything. You give me any sales project, I will master it. But don't ask me to do admin. Don't ask me to do accounts. And hey, I will look into my books. I don't mean when I don't do accounts, I don't know what my business is doing. I know every day how many, okay, I'll leave it there. So work the room. Get there and know your customer. Got to know what they want, because they don't want the same thing every day. We lose the next sale because we're not listening to the customer. Our opportunities are hidden in what the customer is communicating silently. Get out of the room and work them. Find that distributor that can get your product to a province you're not operational in. You do not have to be the one going out there to sell in that province when somebody already exists. It does not work for you. It is expensive. I don't know why we think we should be everything in our businesses. Yes, of course, when you start, you are everything. And I remember when I started my first business in 1997, I was everything. I made the tea. I collected the mail. Those days, we had the post office. We didn't use much of emails. And I was Mr. Everything. But the minute I made my first cent, I had a receptionist because I couldn't sit in the office, take the calls all day when I had to go get the business. You gotta go out there and get the business. You can't sit and not do that. You have to work on your business, not in your business. And I know you've heard this line, and I'm sorry, you're gonna have to hear it for the rest of your life. You have to go out and work on your business, not in your business. Stop being the driver. There's somebody who's there. All they can do is drive. They've had 30 years of experience of driving and they're sitting at home. Why be the driver? Find the client that buys the product that needs the driver that will take the product to them. It costs you so much to drive your own truck. Have you ever calculated how much you cost per hour? Calculate it in terms of driving a truck to a client. It's very expensive. You spend your money much more sitting in a restaurant and meeting a stranger than driving the product to a client. You spend your money much more at night doing your books when you could have outsourced that for 4,000 rand to somebody who's an expert and who will come to you and actually improve your cash flow because they know these things. They're not chance takers. When you look at your books with inexperience, you will not do anything good for your own business. There are services you must outsource. The sooner, the better, because it allows you to work on your business, not in your business. Go out, I ask you. I beg you to go out because opportunities are not inside your firm. They're not inside your factory. They are outside. They are somewhere. They are somewhere in a room that you're not entering. There are people you're not talking to that you should talk to. They're somewhere on the golf course because you think you can play golf. People are signing multi-million rand deals on the golf course. So I say it's time for change. I'm asking you to do 4 things and change your business and find the opportunities. The first thing that I ask you to do is to read. Read and read and read again. Study. Take one more course. Even if it's not obviously related to what you want to do, take one more course. Study. Invest in your business. It is very important. You will get to the Range Rover, but please start by investing in your business. Put the money back into the business and grow it. And if all that fails, read, study, and invest. And if it fails, read, study, and invest. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rams. I need to make sure I keep social distancing.
Yeah. And if it fails, read.
Sorry,
There's no secrets here.
Yeah, I agree. There isn't any secret in the digital era. Rams, our audiences would like to engage with you, and I think we might have quite a long engagement because I have even myself have a lot of questions for you. But I'm gonna read. I'm gonna read from what I see here. I think you've touched on a lot of key aspects, and I just want to kick off by asking this question. I mean, and it's one of the sentiments that came up. And you've mentioned to the effect of SMEs must do enough. SMEs at times don't do enough. Some of the SMEs are operating in a context whereby the business landscape is dominated by like trust relationship type of businesses. What do you do in that case where I mean, it's bad in what sense? In one sense that you want to come in there and break the trust so that you can end that customer. How do you, I mean, let's say you're operating in a construction space. As Sasol, we also have a lot of suppliers that are operating in that space. They've built a lot of trust over the years in terms of quality, delivery, understanding Sasol processes, and we'll keep hearing things like these guys have a lot of institutional memory. You hear words like that, especially in business, in trust type of businesses. What would be your advice to SMEs that need to break into those? I think we can actually have a sit.
We should sit.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do we do? What is your piece of advice? And we can have a conversation about it in terms of that. Like, what should SMEs try to do in this? Is it to win the customer? Is it, I don't know, to create new channels or new opportunities? What are your thoughts in that respect?
My first answer is that there is no one single answer, and there is certainly no textbook answer for it. You may have to try different things and fail, and try another one and fail. And I want to say also upfront before I give you my preferred answer, is that it is also a fact of life that there are things that are institutional. And when they're there, it's not, again, don't blame the environment. You know, if this company has used a big logistics organization for years, it's what it is. You know, and you can't ask them to just break it because you're a black company and you're small and you want an opportunity.
Yeah.
So I say, my answer goes back to where I ended. One of the forms of investment we don't do in our businesses is asking to be in the room and pay for it. Not be paid for it. We pay for it. So what would harm me if I ran a construction company and I said to Sasol, well, look, introduce me to your suppliers, and I'd like to hang around and be with them, and I don't have to be working or be paid. I just want to learn, because I would learn so much from them. But I'm investing my own time. But that investment at some point, because if I'm not in that room, I will never know the opportunity that will come. That big supplier to Sasol may, in 6 weeks, be looking for somebody to help them. If I was not in the room, they would not come to me. They're going to go to somebody else. But I'm not going to invest my time because I'm thinking, it's so expensive, I can't be doing that. I say, actually, the greatest investment you can give to your business is your time, and sometimes pay for it, as in using your time to pay for that opportunity. If the biggest supplier in this organization, and let's just give them a name for now, they are Murray and Roberts. Do they still exist? And I'm in construction, and I'm a small business that's not even a 0.01% of Murray and Roberts. It will not harm me to be in the room with Murray and Roberts and watch how they do things and be under the wing. That's an investment in your business. We need to do that. Look out. They're not competition, especially big suppliers. They're not our competition. They're our leads.
Nice. And I'm going to go through some of these questions in a very random way, but I think it can be powerful in a way. And I really apologize to the audiences. I hope they can follow. So I operate in a digital space. I'm one of the digital leads here at Sasol. So when we began this digital work, one of the things that emerged quite early was understanding what customer wants. And it was a little bit of a rude awakening to me, because I actually thought you'll just greet a customer and customer will tell you exactly what they want, you go and do it. Only to find that customers themselves sometimes don't know exactly. They need something. They're not really sure what is it that they need. So there's some sense of inconvenience, sense of something. They cannot necessarily just easily unpack it for you. And that's some sense of difficulty, right? And most of the time, customers will not come to you and say, I want 1, 2, 3, and 4. Somehow you must be there. You must be on the ground. You must be interacting and pick the stance through some of those interactions. So the question is how, to SMEs, I can use Sasol as an example. How should they listen to what Sasol wants? What is it that they can do to really understand the pain points that Sasol is going through? Because that's where the opportunities are, right? If Sasol is going through a pain point, it's not a pain point to a supplier, it's actually an opportunity to a supplier. How do we distill some of these things? How do we make sense of these pain points, opportunities, to make sure we don't really lose them? Because sometimes they can just pass by without realizing that, oh, this was actually an opportunity you discovered 10 years ago. Man, this guy complained about this thing. Why didn't I think it's that? Or how do we, I know it's a very long, convoluted question, but I think it will benefit me as well. And I'm taking
the question
advantage.
may be long, but it's certainly not convoluted.
Yeah.
I got it.
Okay,
and in the question, you gave me the answer, by the way. I was going to say the same answer, but you gave it yourself. It is the pain point. And by the way, and in case you guys are listening, that's exactly my sales training. You have to push your client to tell you what really causes them pain. Because if you're not solving their pain, you're going to waste time in trying to entertain their happiness. They're happy enough. Please try and solve their pain and push them hard. Ask them what is it that they feel that they're throwing money into and they're getting no benefit for. What is it that they spent money on a few months ago and they thought the result was not good enough? What is it that they paid you for that they thought could have been much better, or there could have been something more? We have to ask and listen and find that pain point. The more pain to the client, the more loyal, or rather the more accurate they're going to be in describing what they want from you. And therefore you can give client what they want. We get into a problem of giving client what we think client needs. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's true. You know client needs this. But if they're not aware of it, and they have not prioritized it as a need or a want, they're going to find it as a pain point that they're paying you and this is not answering what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So deal with them first. Give them what it really causes them pain and then upsell. Don't come with your bag of solutions and downsell to their pain. Deal with their pain and upsell to the other solutions.
And, follow-upping on that within this space of opportunities and pain points, and it's a question that is very much relevant to the type of voice that you're bringing in. And I'm repeating that question because it came out early as well. Against the context in which we find ourselves today, which is ambiguity, volatility, COVID, customer needs are shifting, things are changing. And then you have these SMEs that have specific capabilities. It could be, piping manufacturing, that space is shrinking. There's no longer massive investment in terms of infrastructure building. You don't have to be smart to know that there's, budget cuts in infrastructure, etc. How do we reshape ourselves? Like, how do you go through this process of, reshaping, evaluating, and I think sometimes it can be scary because let's say you come to the realization that, all the skills that I have may actually be obsolete if you think hard enough. Or how should SMEs, constantly reevaluate or reposition? Do you want to share some thoughts into that?
So, I think it was in 2015, I invested a substantial amount of my money that I had made in a different business because I saw a new opportunity. Good money that should have given family some good rest. And I invested in this business. And 6 months into the investment, that opportunity did not exist anymore. That reality did not exist in the world anymore. And I lost all the money. I walked away. In my view, I lost less than what I lost 8 years before. The previous time, in my other business, my very first business I had started, things went completely wrong. And I mean very wrong. I got into a merger that went wrong and we lost lots of money. And I spent 2 years using my money to try and save an organization that was failing. Sometimes we have to walk away and go and reevaluate and go find something new, something that speaks to the time that we're in. The fact that you're good at pipe creation or pipe maintenance, if nobody uses the pipes, it's moot, really.
Yeah.
There are times when you have to write off an investment. It's part of business. The sooner you walk away from something that doesn't work, the lesser the punishment. And I'm sorry to put it that way, but it's a fact of life.
Yeah, I'm getting heated. So one of the questions, and I want to ask it, it's on the feed. It speaks to, I'm not sure it's on the feed, but I think you've, if it's not on feed, you've mentioned something like that, Range Rovers. Don't rush to Range Rovers, etc., etc. On the other side of the spectrum, we hear motivational speakers, for an example, speaking to entrepreneurs and saying, life isn't a rehearsal. So this is it. What we live in now is not coming back. You need to enjoy life as much as you can. How do we get the balances between reward and building, especially to entrepreneurs? Because, you work so hard. You need to reward yourself while at the same time growing your business. Yeah. If you don't reward yourself at all, and something happens, life is gone. How do you I don't want to use the word balance sheet, but how do you?
I like the concept of reward. Of course, you gotta pay yourself and feel that I've earned this.
Yeah.
But the word is earning, isn't it? You've earned it. So here's an example. I run a company called Kingmaker Consulting. I get a big contract with a company. Let's create a company called Sasol.
Yep.
Okay? And I get this business worth 5 million rand. And I get this business, and the 5 million rand that I get from Sasol, the cost of running that 5 million is 4.5 million rand. Which one is my money there? My money is 500,000 rand. It's not 5 million rand. 4.5 of that 5 million belongs to this company that must service the client that gave me the business, so that hopefully I can get more business from this company. You cannot spend the money you do not have. Your revenue is not your money. It still belongs to this business, and some of it belongs to the taxman. Do not spend the money you don't have. If you don't want to be paid, trust me, we see these cars repossessed every second day because people spend the revenue. My money is the profit. And the profit, by the way, has to do, even from that 500,000, the profit will be after my salary and after my overheads and whatever. So probably the profit is 75,000 rand. I don't know of any good Range Rover that sells for 75,000 rand. Don't buy it.
Yeah. Wow, powerful. Another question, and again, it speaks to this voice that you kind of pushing through your talk, and it also came out early. I paraphrased it saying, in South African, street language, we say it's rough out there. Things are tough. As SMEs, how do we ensure resilience? How do we go through all these difficulties? And I think COVID even made things worse. I mean, in a level competition space, it's still tough to compete. I like the idea that you said these big companies are leads companies who must come together, co-create. But how do we survive as things change, as things get so difficult as MMEs? And I think that came out quite a lot in the platform. And again, it's rough out there.
So I run a number of businesses, and the biggest of those businesses is called Rams Mabote. It is the biggest of those businesses. He's the guy who stands on stages and give talks and MCs and stuff like that. Can you guess what happened to me since March 2020? Not a single invoice. The event industry died, and therefore my check book was closed, gone. My advice is that listen to other voices. You will realize that your problems are not as big as you think they are. There are people who are going through worse, but also you get more comfort in talking to people in your space and understanding what they're going through. You could even get other ideas of what more to do. I actually launched my digital platform shortly after the first lockdown, level 5. And it came from a young man I had not really known much, but I'd spoken to, and he said to me, but you're a radio man, now everybody's sitting at home, you're not getting the gigs. Hey, there's Facebook and YouTube. All you have to plug in and do the same things that you used to do on radio. Been doing it now for months, and it's growing by the day. So listen to other people, speak to more people, especially peers. Other SMEs are going through much bigger pain. This thing of personalizing pain and thinking that mine is worse than the other, it's punishment, it's self-punishment, self-flagellation. We are all going through tough times, including huge organizations. I spoke at an event last week, and I said, any company that has kept some people employed in this period, I have so much respect for them.
Wow.
Even the big corporates, it has been hard. Yeah. People have bled. So if I sit there as Rams and think, in the period that I did not do work, I lost out on a good pay time, hey, I think this company lost much more than I could lose, even proportionally speaking.
Yeah. Powerful, powerful. So, and the next question also really speaks to the theme of this function. And as Sasol employing myself, I feel it's unfair to ask you that question, but I want to ask it to you anyway, because the theme of this function is built to last. And I should be answering that question, but I'm quite interested to hear your view on it. How do you know, as an SME, that you are indeed built to last? First of all, should you be built to last? Because I'm hearing from what you're saying. Sometimes you let go. You fail fast. maybe that's actually part of lasting, accepting failure, jumping off, and doing something new. But do you want to share some thoughts in this, build to last theme?
I'm going to mention 3 companies that I'm hoping that most of us have heard about before. Kodak, BlackBerry, and Nokia. I'm sure they were built to last, weren't they? So, my answer is, yes, put all the fundamentals right and do all the right things that you need to do. But you are not always in charge of what's coming ahead of you, what's around the curve. Innovate, educate yourself, and always adapt. When things change, don't be a BlackBerry. Do not bury your head in the sand. I have a saying, and I'm hoping that in this family room it's not going to sound bad, but I always say, when you put your head in the sand, you put your ass in the air. So, innovate. Very important.
Yeah.
Move with the times.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't work, drop it. If you're an entrepreneur, trust me, something else is going to come. You're going to see another opportunity.
Yeah. And actually, one of our speakers earlier shared something powerful, Komoto. So he's actually in a space of building plastic piping, and only to discover that the equipment that he has can actually build plastic filters that could actually be used in PPE, which is protective equipment for COVID. I'm asking these questions thinking, sometimes it may not even be about completely exiting. Sometimes it could be about looking in terms of your capabilities. How do you pivot within your own space? How do you build, additional, streams of income from the very same capabilities that you have in a different way? Of course, maybe if that fails, you jump off. And one of the things that came out of that, and I would also like you to comment on that, what you hold in this thought, is the perceived shrinking opportunities in South Africa. Perceived because one of the earlier speakers as well spoke about abundance of opportunities. One of the examples that he used was in South Africa, we actually even importing toothpicks. Can you imagine? That's an opportunity. I never thought, I'm also thinking, can I start toothpick business tomorrow? Where should I start? Do you want to make comments in this, in addition to what the speakers have said, and also thinking and how can SMEs take some of these insights away?
I don't necessarily believe that there is a shrinkage of opportunities. There is a shifting of opportunities. I think there's a realignment, and that's what COVID has done. What was vogue yesterday is not vogue today, but there are things that have sprung up because of COVID. You just spoke about the guy who now does different PPE stuff out of plastic. I met a young man some time ago who discovered a huge opportunity that while we're going to wait too long for the vaccine, and I hope it's not too long, but I think it will be. And the truth is, though, the mask business is no longer as big as those who came in early, rightfully or wrongly.
Yeah.
But he found an amazing opportunity and found a product outside this country where big organizations can do instant testing for COVID and they get results in 10 minutes. And this is approved by the pharmaceutical industry in the US and stuff like that. So this is highly approved.
Yeah.
And I think even Sapra has approved it. And he suddenly moved from a guy who was wanting to sell masks, bump into this opportunity, and in a few weeks, and I mean literally in a few weeks, he has signed multi-million rand deals with big corporates. So again, are your eyes open to opportunities? Are you going to start to try and still sell masks when now I'm told big pharmaceuticals in this country are stuck with 6 million masks in the back room because nobody's buying them as much as they used to buy them. You can't solve a problem that's going out of the way. But the problem that we still have is that we still have COVID. And if this organization can test me and in 10 minutes know that I should be in the building or not in the building, much safer.
And coming back to this shifting opportunities, how do you? And it's an outrageous question. I mean, having known, for an example, that we do not we import toothpicks. Where do you start? Like, because this is an opportunity, I'm actually sitting here thinking, after this conference, who do I call? Who do I get into this thing? How?
I can answer that question now for you.
Yeah.
You want to manufacture toothpicks? I'll answer that question for you. But before that, let me add to my previous answer.
Correct.
So we're going to share this money of the toothpicks once I've given you the idea. In this room, there's a gentleman who's been taking pictures, and there are cameras rolling.
Yep.
Now, I'm a media person. I got into television years ago. And when I first got into television, they used to use huge stuff on top of their shoulders. They would carry these things and run with them and take rolling video. What do people use now? I've now done programs on a cell phone, on a drone. So I say, every time something goes, so when those huge cameras went, well, the drone business grew. So there's always a new opportunity. So let me answer yours. If you go to Mpumalanga, especially bordering KZN, that's our timber capital in this country, up to Mozambique. Do you know that the companies that run that business still battle with getting rid of the off-cuts? Because they are into bigger business. They battle to get rid of the off-cuts. And of those off-cuts, lie somewhere your toothpicks and something amazing.
I feel so stupid. Yeah, no, honestly, and I think the insight here is not only about toothpicks per se, it's about starting to look at what is it that we import into our own country, at what pace, and how do we, in fact, reshift that? How do we become globally competitive? Because, I mean, if we think about it, we can't actually be globally competitive if we're importing everything from an economic standpoint. So how do we, as SMEs, and maybe this is the message to SMEs, how do we look at products that, your current clients actually import, and how do you position yourself to replace those imports? Because you would probably be your distribution channels would be a lot shorter. You can sell at a shorter price. You don't have to use sea logistics and coastal logistics and all of that. That's cost cutting, right? So you can be able to pitch some of this product at much better price. But then you'll get arguments, labor is quite expensive, political orientation is also a challenge. But I do, see a lot of opportunities in that space. Very much inspired by this toothpick opportunity. I'm actually even starting to wonder what other, for lack of a better word, nonsensical products we're actually importing. I cannot believe that we're importing a toothpick, because it's a piece of stick that you use and
every day by millions of people.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. Like, I'm even wondering, are we even importing matchsticks? Because people who smokes use that. That's timber as well. You could come up with something there. And probably there are a lot of SMEs that are already dealing with wood. Already can they shift, rewire and shift into those opportunities. Rams, in closing, we have limited time, and I would like to go on a break. Do you have any closing remarks you'd like to share before you close? And beyond that, where can people get into contact with you? What social platforms do you have? What opportunities you personally can provide for SMEs? And last but not least, and I know it's unfair question, from inspirational standpoint, what do you do yourself to actually empower SMEs? Because I seems to be finding a lot of value in that, in giving all the talks that we've had.
Oh yeah, thank you. Look, firstly, I want to say I am not romanticizing business. It is a hard thing. Anybody in any business of any sorts, it is hard. People rise and fall every single day. Giants have gone down. So when I speak, I'm not making it look too easy. I've got my scars to show you. If I can show you what I've gone through, you'll realize that I'm not talking textbook stuff. I actually have not even studied business in my life. But I've put in my money and I've done things and I've lost money and I've made some. So my advice to you is play the long game and invest in your business. Play the long game. Do not seek for easy wins. They hardly ever happen. The answer about, well, first let me tell you how I support and how I can then empower, small businesses. One of my favorite producer of socks is a guy called Swoo. And as a matter of course, I believe if I don't put my money where my mouth is, then I'm talking nonsense. So wherever I can, I support an SME. Every supplier of mine except one. And I'm proud of that one, by the way. All my suppliers are SMEs except one. And the reason the other one is not an SME and I still support them is because they were an ex-business partner of mine for many years, and they supply me this service that we used to do together, and it's a friend. So I'm not going to change this. But everyone, from the guy who does my website to my producers to whatever else, it's an SME. I seek first an SME, and I'm very patient with them. I don't give them 2-day deadlines that Sasol gave me. I'm kidding. I give them 20-day deadlines. But I do something else. Yeah. I run a platform that seeks for opportunities for SMEs, where I go to big organizations and governments and find out what they're doing and what else they could do to help SMEs. And we broadcast this for free on my platform called Talk with Rams. Live is both on Facebook and YouTube. And I get sad that SMEs are not subscribing enough there, because those opportunities are for them. Because people cry, but we have no opportunity. And I say, every single week I sit with tens of these, and you guys don't take advantage of them. So you gotta be out there. You gotta listen to what is happening out there and take advantage. So I know I am doing my bit in supporting SMEs. That's my life. That's what I live for. I'm just interested in seeing SMEs grow. And one day, because no company started as a big company. All of them started as SMEs, and they ended up as big organizations. You don't know what holds around the corner. Just invest in yourself and putting in the time.
Great, awesome. And last one was, how do you get hold of you?
I'm everywhere. I'm on Facebook. So there's different people. So there's Rams. You can find Rams Mabote on Facebook, but he talks nonsense and on Twitter and stuff like that. Yeah. But better find Talk with Rams, also on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. There you find much more substantial stuff. Much more serious guys.
What is the handle again?
Talk with Rams.
Talk with Rams.
Yeah. You can also email me. Fine. Rams@talkwithrams.com.
Rams@talkwithrams.com. Rams, thanks a lot. This has been quite powerful. We really appreciate some of your insights. I mean, if I have to, sum up, I think one thing that stands out for me really is this idea of failing fast. Sometimes letting go helps you to have less negative impacts in your own business. Pivot whenever you can, fail fast, shift, rethink, refresh, redo, and find new ways of being successful. And it's actually a very difficult thing, because that comes with the realization that the own capabilities that made you successful in the past may not necessarily make you successful now. And to divorce yourself from that, it requires some character.
But take heed, take heart. A teacher taught me at high school, first day at high school, that failure is an event, not a person. So what would have failed is that event, not you. If you're a great jockey, you'll find another horse.
Rams, thanks a lot. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Awesome.